Hi, and welcome to the See You at Home webinar series. I'm Trevor Lewis, and I'm joining you from the beautiful, sensational nation's capital. It's a beautiful sunny day, and wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for joining us for the awards and financial aid session. Before I start, I just wanted to mention that it's just not just me here on the webinar. We have a number of experts that are in the background that can answer questions for you. So the Q&A will be live during the entire session. So make sure you jump in there if you have questions about anything regarding your transition to Carleton. If you've been following us for the past little while, you'd know that we've been focusing on the programs last week, and this week is dedicated to all things resources and to support your transition here to Carleton. So I'm just going to go over to slide 2, and one of the vital support mechanisms that's available to you is provided by what we call the awards office. And I want to tell you what we call it, because not every university is going to call their financial aid office the awards office. That's what it's called, and it can be found in Robertson Hall. It's the bottom left of your screen, and essentially the website is here too. This is a resource we're going to be talking about throughout the presentation, because a lot of the resources that you require going forward are going to be on that website, and it's updated pretty regularly with things that you need to know. As it says here, we administer the undergraduate scholarships, bursaries, and government student aid programs. So jumping right in, there's a number of different forms of assistance available to help you finance your education, and we're going to focus on these 5 for the sake of the webinar. So scholarships, bursaries, work study, Ontario Student Assistance Program, and Money Matters. To determine what types of financial arrangements are best for you, familiarize yourself with all the scholarships, government system programs, loans, and bursaries that are available. Okay, so there are 2 types of institutional awards at Carleton. Bursaries, which are based on financial need. We'll get into that in a second. And scholarships, which are based on academic merit, or we call your grades. First, the entrance scholarships, as you can see here on the screen, are offered for fall entry. Students with an admission average of 80% and higher and above are considered for an entrance scholarship upon application to the university. These are offered automatically, and no separate application is necessary. Eligible students will be presented with a scholarship offer along with the offer of admission. So you may already be holding one of those, and if you are, congratulations. Values range in scholarships from $4,000 to $16,000 over 4 consecutive years, or as we say, $1,000 to $4,000 per year. We do reassess the entrance scholarship offers at various times during the admission process, and if your admission average increases, the scholarship offer will increase as well, but it can never decrease. For those of you students that are out there, wherever you're joining us from, perhaps you're transferring from another university or a college, you're also considered for entrance scholarships at the time of admission. Now, to ensure that you are awarded and issued the scholarship, it's absolutely essential that you remember to do these 2 things. So accepting your offer of admission will confirm your offer of scholarship. So there isn't a separate process for accepting the scholarship. Accepting the offer of admission will do that for you. Second, it's important, and it's important to remember, is that you need to register in the fall and in the winter semesters, and to maintain 4.0 credits out of a full course load of 5, between 4 and 5 for the fall and the winter semester. So when you get into the registration process, which is going to happen in June, remember for your scholarship that you need to register in at least minimum 4.0 credits in those 2 semesters. Now, after your first year, your scholarship will be reassessed for renewal. And to renew your scholarship, you need to maintain a 10.0 GPA out of 12, which is essentially an A- or an 80% average in your first year. If you didn't, it can be regained though. In addition to being renewable, it is also what we call regainable. In other words, if last year you didn't get those grades, it can be regained in the subsequent year of the first 4 years. Next slide. Okay, So there's also some other specific entrance scholarships to talk about. Departmental scholarships, for example, which also do not require an application, which is important to note. Departmental scholarships are awarded to the top students entering the first year of selected programs. They can be combined with a renewable entrance scholarship as well. And information is available on our website under other entrance scholarships. Some examples include the Faculty of Engineering and Design scholarships, the Dean's Entrance Scholarship of Excellence for Scott School of Business, the Collins Memorial Entrance Scholarships for Earth Sciences, and the Arthur Kruger National Scholarships for the Bachelor of Public Affairs and Policy Management. Once again, there's no application required for these, so it can be a nice surprise to suddenly realize that you're receiving one of these as well. Now, if you've not been, also good to know is if you've not been offered an entrance scholarship at the time of admission, you will automatically be considered for an in-course scholarship for the following year. So it's good to know. And in-course scholarships are awarded to students who meet the academic and course load requirements and who are proceeding from one year of study to the next. General in-course scholarships can range from $750 to $1,000 based on your GPA. In addition to these general in-course scholarships, you may also be rewarded a specific departmental scholarship for your program, which could also be a great surprise. Okay, now in slides, then I go to the next slide for scholarship payment. So how are scholarships paid? In talking with students over the years, they'll ask me, do I get a check? Can I just take the money and go buy a car so I can give you the car? It doesn't work that way. So how it works is scholarships are applied and issued directly towards tuition fees in 2 installments, half in mid-August for the fall term and the second half in mid-December for the winter term. After you register on Carleton Central, when you calculate amount to pay, the value of any scholarship or bursary will be recorded as available funding and will reduce the amount of tuition that you need to pay as per the slide here. Now, critical to remember, once again, and just because I mentioned this before, is that you need to register for both the fall and the winter semesters to 4.0 credits or more over the course of the academic year. Let's move on to the entrance bursaries. Okay, Carleton also offers bursaries to entering and in-course students with financial needs. A bursary is a monetary award similar to a scholarship in that you're not expected to repay it, but it's rewarded primarily on financial need rather than academic achievement. Students entering Carleton Fall 2020 are able to apply for an entrance bursary online through Carleton Central, and the deadline to do so is June 30th. Now, what happens if you miss that deadline to apply for an entrance bursary? Students who have not applied by the 30th of June may still be considered for a bursary by completing the general undergraduate bursary application for current students. The general undergraduate bursary application is available as of September through the undergraduate application form system on Carleton Central. And the deadline due to that is the 31st of October. So what else is there to help? How about getting a job at Carleton? Can I do that? This is a common question, and it's another way that Carleton can help. The Work Study Program, as it's known, is a financial aid program, pardon me, is also a program funded by Carleton University and one of the many ways students can work for the university during the school year. Jobs include working in the library, academic departments, and the various areas within student services. You may even end up working in an area that's related to your field of study, which would be a bonus. Students must apply to participate in the Work Study Program each year and be approved by the awards office before they can be hired by a university department. So look into that. Funding and space in the program is limited, and applications are assessed on the first come, first served basis. It's important for you to complete and submit your application as soon as possible. There's other ways to help finding part-time work as well when you're at the university. Career Services, for instance, offers one-on-one advising sessions. Please keep an eye on their website for info about part-time job offers and job postings, and their URL is carleton.ca/career. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some government student financial assistance and OSAP. Government student financial assistance is the primary source of financial aid for many students. I know as a student going to Carleton, I don't know many students who didn't receive some sort of financial aid from the government, very common. A student must be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or protected person and apply for funding through their, quote, home province. Your home province is usually defined as the province in which your parents currently reside, or if you're an independent applicant, the province in which you have most recently lived and worked for 12 consecutive months. For example, Ontario high school students apply for Osap, Quebec high school CEGEP students apply for Quebec financial aid, and Alberta high school students apply for Alberta financial aid, et cetera, et cetera. If you're unsure about which government student aid program to apply to, you can contact the Awards and Financial Office for assistance to determine provincial residency. Okay, so we're going to focus a little bit for Ontario students for a moment on the Ontario Assistance Program. It's intended to supplement the financial resources that eligible students have available to meet the costs of post-secondary education. Assistance is based on financial need and is determined through an assessment of two main factors on your OSAP application. One, educational costs, such as tuition fees, books, supplies, and basic living expenses. And two, resources that you and your family, if applicable, contribute towards these costs. There are various factors at play here and for people's financial health, including having other students in the home and so forth, that can put pressure on students' families for providing support. Through one application, students are assessed for non-repayable grants as well as a repayable loan. Loans are money that you'll have to repay, and grants, money that you will not have to repay. Loans through OSAP are interest and payment free while you're in school full time. So there's no worry to have to pay back loans while you're studying. Students have the option, this is very interesting to know too, put an asterisk here, is that students have an option to decline the loan portion on the OSAP of their funding and take just the grant portion. So in order to get the grant, you need to apply for the loan. Next slide. Now, students can quickly and easily apply online and upload supporting documents via the OSAP application portal. And as per any loan agreement that you'll ever engage in your entire existence, there are roles and responsibilities and conditions. The NSFAA is a multi-year federal and provincial loan agreement that you should become familiar with respect to the conditions of accepting and repaying your student loans. Use of OSAP Student Application Portal and OSAP Message Center is also very important and a great resource for you. Now, entering students can also link their OSAP and Ontario University Application Center UAC applications. Information used to pre-fill an OSAP profile and school/program information. To determine whether you are eligible for OSAP and to ensure that you have the proper funding for the start of your studies, you should apply as soon as the application becomes available online. Students who have been approved for OSAP funding can defer their tuition fee payment until after the funds are released. Okay, so we've talked a lot here. There's a ton of information coming your way. So I just want to take a quick pause here and let you absorb all that, because what I'm about to say is extremely important, and I want to make sure that I put a bit of emphasis on this, a lot of emphasis on this, so it's very clear. One of the most common errors that students can make on an OSAP application, so everybody's got their pen, they're going to write this down, is what we call double reporting award income. So students are not required, in other words, to report scholarship and bursaries awarded by Carleton, the ones that came automatically with your acceptance. You're not required to report it on the OSAP application, because us here in the awards office, we're going to do that for you. So if you do it and we do it, then you're double reporting, and that could have a negative repercussion on how much OSAP that you would get at the end of the day. So it's a very common question. So if you see that they're asking for what awards you received, do not report the Carleton ones, report only the external awards. Last but certainly not least, question we get often is, I have an RESP, or Registered Education Savings Plan. We've been contributing towards my education for a long time. You may be required to provide verification of your student status to your RESP provider. A verification of student status, or we call a VOS, form can be requested through Carleton at Carleton Central. Estimating the cost of a year at Carleton University varies from student to student, depending on many variables such as your program of study, your living arrangements, how much you intend to travel, and your personal spending habits, obviously. For tips and tools on budgeting, be sure to check the resources on our website at carleton.ca/awards/budgeting. During the month of November, be sure to check out events on the website hosted by the awards office to promote financial literacy. Our goal is to provide students with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to take control of their financial future. Now, as we moved on to the end and on to the question and answer session as part of here of the webinar, that'll be on for quite a while, not just after I disappear, but we will leave it live for quite a while for you to, as questions start to percolate and you're wondering things, feel free to hang around. As mentioned, we do have a number of people in the background who are happy to help. So I hope this was helpful and informative. And I will close out by saying that do leverage that Q&A. I'll be around there as well, as our Carleton experts are waiting for you in the back end. And I'd like to thank you again for joining, and perhaps I'll see you at home again soon. Thank you and have a great day.